And here is the ice house built in 1896 by A.J. Hess and Son in downtown Lee Summit, Missouri, right across from City Hall.
Hi, Kathy Smith. I'm with the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm the chair, and this evening we're going to talk about the historic old ice house, formerly known as A.H. Powell Packing Company. This, at one important time, was the edge of town, and so they processed a lot of meat here. Mr. Powell was a very prominent Lee Summit person who came here around the Civil War, or after the Civil War. He was from Alabama, and the Powell family is a very important historic family in Lee Summit. And then he sold his interest out to L.A. Hess, who also had a meat packing plant here. And the meat packing plants were where they processed the meat. You know, cattle would be driven here, they would process the meat and probably distributed them along with a lot of the, there were a lot of little grocery stores in downtown Lee Summit at the time. And so probably to those folks, or maybe folks could buy them direct. But the building, even though it's been abused over time, was built by a famous stonemason of the era. We don't have the exact name, but we do know that for sure through information that I received from a historian. But you know, they've never really restored the stone like they should have, but you can just imagine what this would look like taken back to the way it should be. It's the only, we've got one other partially stone building in downtown Lee Summit, and this, you know, this was the only full stone building. There's a 1930s addition on the corner there that was put in because it eventually became an ice house where they manufactured ice, and it was a very thriving concern, and a lot of men who, young boys who of high school age worked here in the summer to stay fit. You know, they didn't have fancy gyms and workout facilities for kids, so a lot of these kids would work here. And there was what's called excelsior on the floors to store the ice and keep it cold. And so when ice was delivered, first in a cart and horse, you put the number in the window of how many pounds of ice you wanted. And then later on they had a little truck that delivered the ice. But this is a picture of a truck. It's the only known picture that we have of the ice house truck.
Awesome.
And it's got, this is the process that they used. They actually made the ice in here. And at one point the building next door was part of the ice house too. They also manufactured ice when George Whiting owned that building. So there's really good reason to save this building. One of a kind, would be such a you know, adaptive reuse of a great building, and really an asset to our downtown. And then the interior is, now it was told it was walnut. It's also told this evening it's possibly chestnut in there, but the potential is there. Just take somebody with vision to really want to do wonderful things with that building. Throwing it away is not the way to go on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. So this is pretty much a very, very unique building.
Yes, it is. 1896, I believe, is what that marker says up on the top of the building.
It's one of a kind. There's no such in the area.
There are no other buildings like that in our downtown.
And the location is ideal because it is right across from City Hall.
That's correct.
It's a highly visible building that hopefully can be utilized